Hey folks, good morning. Troy Dooley's Morning Coffee Reflections. And I tell you what, it's been, I had the coffee earlier. Now I just drank a powered drink from Bozzy. I'm excited about that. It's good stuff. I heard they're getting ready to put it back on the market, so that rocks. But today I want to talk about what is it that our kids need from dad. See, lately, dads have been working more, stressed out, economy sucks, and we forget about things. And from my own, if you want to know why I talk about this, I have children from the age of 26 to 7. I'm raising 2 grandbabies. My oldest son is sitting in prison. My second 2 boys have had children, obviously out of wedlock. They weren't married at the time. And so I'm not talking to you from somebody that's talking theory. I'm talking, I've lived this stuff. And as I look at this and I realize that, I was born out of wedlock in the 60s. I was born to a young lady who was a secretary, who had been a dancer at a club. So I understand what I'm training here on, what I'm reflecting on, because I happen to live it. And in looking back and in studying and looking at every book and talking to many people, I've come to understand there's certain things, whether we're raising boys or girls, and I have a mixture of both, there's certain things that they need. Now, there's certain things that boys need that girls don't. And if you want to write this down, write it down. Here you go. Number 1, boys get their identity from their dad. If a dad is a beta male, they're probably going to raise kids that are a little bit more subdued. Maybe they grow up not liking loud noises. They don't like it when people yell. They get intimidated easy. If they grow up in a family where the people yell all the time and they're dogmatic and they're violent or they're animated, then that's what they look at. That's the basis of where those identities come from. Number 2, they need the assurance of 3 things. They need to belong, they need to know their values, and they need to be at their competence. See, one of the things that I've learned is that when boys especially are coming into the puberty, coming into manhood, getting ready to about there, they've got to have something they can believe in. They've got to know that their dad believes in something, and they're going to grab those early values, that competency, everything. They want to learn everything that they can. That's the key. And here's something that Stephen Arterburn writes this in his book. He says, I am pleased conveys value. Here's what he's saying, and this is so powerful. When you say certain things to your kids, this is what they interpret. When you say, I'm pleased, that means that you value them. When you say, listen to him, that expresses competence. The son who hears these messages regularly from his father will believe he is wanted, that he is valued, and that he has something to offer. So when you say, that's my son, when you say, I'm pleased with him, when you say, I'm listening to him, and let me give this to you at home. Let me just bring it down. Most of you that hang out with us know that we go to Catalyst every year. When we go to Catalyst, you want to know, we run as a pack, Dalton and I. I mean, we are a dynamic duo. You want to know who runs that dynamic duo? Dalton does. Dalton is the one that leads. He's the one that says, Dad, here's what we need to do. He's the one that is the go-to person. When Steve Miller, when Akimi needs us, they don't come to Troy. They go to Dalton. And Dalton says, Dad, here's what we need to get done. It's Dalton that's driving the big fork trucks. It's Dad that's throwing the stuff off. Every now and then, when he starts to feel overwhelmed and he starts to feel like, man, Dad, they're asking me for some stuff and I don't know what to do here. That's when Dad takes over and says, why don't you do this, this, and this? Boom. Confidence level goes back up. He's back at it again. See, that's the key, folks, when you're raising boys. Now let's look at a little bit about the girls. What do girls need from their dads? First thing they need is 100% unconditional love. Similar to what the boys need, except it's not acceptance, it's love. You've got to love those girls no matter what they do. You look at them and you say, you know what, baby, I just love, you're my little princess. I love you to death. You remind me of your mama. You remind me of your grandma. I love that. Give me a hug. Can I do something for you today? I don't know how many times a day I walk in and say, hey, sweeties, have I told you how much I love you? I don't know how many times on Facebook I give them affirmations. Here's why. If they don't get love, unconditional love from their dad, if their dads don't tell them you are so good, you're a super girl, you're going to be a hottie, and I don't mean it in a bad way. I'm saying you got to give them that encouragement. They're going to go to school and there's going to be people that make fun of them. They're going to say they're overweight, their hair looks bad, their clothes are wrong, their teeth are crooked. And if you sit there and say you're the most gorgeous thing I've ever seen, you're going to make somebody a beautiful wife someday. Honey, your leadership skills are second to none. Whatever the case is, this is what happened. When they're out there with the boys who actually think they look like a hottie in a bad way, because you know what I'm talking about, Dad, you were there once. You look at your wife and you think she's a hottie, and you want to see her buck naked all the time. One of these days, there's going to be a little stud walk into your daughter's life who's going to want the same doggone thing. And even though they may tell you when they're on your lap, Daddy, I'll always be your little girl, I'll never grow up, grow out, grow sideways, grow anything, they lie. They're going to grow up and be some of the most drop-dead, gorgeous teenage girls ever walked the face of the earth. And if you haven't let them know how much you love them, then they will go looking for that love in the arms of somebody else. Because they'll all of a sudden say to themselves, well, maybe if I give him a little bit, he'll love me more. Maybe if I give him a little bit, he'll treat me like my daddy never treated me. Guys, I'm just telling you the way it is. I've got 2 baby girls born out of wedlock that I'm raising, our grandbabies. And you know what? I hold my boys as responsible as I do the girls. But when I look back in the lives of them young ladies, their daddies weren't there. They didn't have somebody, and they went looking for love. And I'm proud to say I trained my boys how to love ladies unconditionally, and they did. They just went a little bit too far themselves, and they sinned. Sometimes that happens. We all grow up. We all know that we sin. But if you want to give your kids something, maybe you didn't have it when you were growing up. Ladies, if you're listening to this, you say, oh, I wish my husband would do that. The odds are in his past, he didn't have a dad that loved him unconditionally. Guys, I had to grow through. My dad expected. I mean, I can't go into all the details. I didn't know my biological father, but my dad, the man who raised me, did the best he could. But he didn't know any of this stuff. So I had to go learn it on my own. I wish I'd learned it a whole lot faster than what I did. Folks, live life like it's an epic adventure. We'll see you back here at Troy's Morning Coffee Reflections tomorrow. Bye now.